Of this part.
Putting in gear, switching on anti-lag.
This is the good stuff. This is the good stuff. Here we go, on to the limiters. Lights are about to go out. Look for the green. Oh, Sandell was the last away from the line there. Foust and Speed super close together. Block going to try and go around the outside. Foust goes deep again. Those guys split the strategy. Block goes inside to the Joker. Sandell, Block was into the back of Speed. I can see from the conference there was contact in turn one, but only just. So VW have done the split strategy again, Bucky.
You see if it works this time. Block is right there.
If Block can harass Speed a little bit, that might hold Speed up. I think Speed will do what you said and be eyes forward and just hit his marks.
He will hit his marks, that's for sure. But can Ken get in his mirrors?
Yeah, sure, and harass him a little bit. And also, so far we've seen that the strategy of Speed has worked to just get their laps in and take the Joker the last time. Foust did this last time, Joker on lap 1. And Block goes Joker now. Watch for Foust on the inside. So Block's gone to the Joker. Foust is coming around the inside. He's going to try and shut the door. I think he's going to get it done. And Block drops back now behind, just in front of Sandell, but behind Foust. And now, what's the gap? Foust is 2.4. Last time we saw Speed edging that out by 3/10 here and there. So will he hold on again for lap 4? On board with Foust as he looks ahead to his main rival for the weekend. Your teammate's always your biggest rival.
It is. It's the one guy you want to beat, and it's the one guy you don't want to run into.
Faust through the right. Speed is going into the standard lap. So Speed ahead of Faust has gone standard lap. So these guys now, what's the gap? It was 2 points. 2.2. Faust is closing it down. So Faust has taken 2/10 out of it, Bucky. This is on. Oh, I see he's pushing really hard over the jump. Full risk for Faust.
He might be gaining it over the jump.
So just being really committed and taking a bit of a risk on it.
He might be a little bit more aggressive on the brakes. Like I said, Tanner's probably one of the best brakers in the field.
So Faust through the right hander. Watch for the Joker lap merge this time. Faust, is he looking to stamp some authority on it? Super committed through. Threads that needle again into the right. Watch for Speed around the outside. Oh, he's super fast. Top Speed is so fast around the Joker lap. It's going to be close to the merge. Faust's going to try and come around the outside.
Inside? Does he have it?
Oh, Speed holds him off, and Faust can't get through. Speed knew he was there.
Yep, all you have to do is just not slide it.
Super tight, but these guys as well, if they hadn't been teammates, I reckon they'd have been in contact there, but they know not to do that.
They could have gave us a little contact. We want to see a little.
We'll wait for the semis and the final for that. There'll be contact then, I'm sure. Faust sideways on the exit. Speed tidy, but Faust has done a good job here with the lap times. He's proved he's going to be a rival to his teammate for the rest of the day. Speed, though, takes it with a 2:20.
Sandell off.
Oh, Sandell's off at the last corner from the commentary. She's gone really wide. Coming out really hot, but Speed with a 2:20.4 has gone fastest time of the day. So both ARX and ARX2 have gone FTD. Is that because of the track, do you think, Bucky?
I do think it's grooving in more.
So
the cars, yep, the dirt is getting faster.
Okay, so basically, so that we might expect to see even quicker times again in Q4. But interesting, wasn't it? It looked like it played into Faust's hand a little bit in terms of lap time. He was chasing Speed down there. When we get into the semis and it's 6 laps, not 4, you know, those extra laps are going to make a difference to how you can gap the guy behind.
It's all going to come up to style of driving. You know, if there's a spot where Tanner can send it, where you know Speed is going to keep it a little bit more tighty, Faust might be able to gain.
Scott Speed takes it with a 2:20.4, the fastest time of the day so far. Tanner, Faust, Ken Block and Patrik Sandell. And those 4 guys are all faster than the 4 from the previous race. In fact, Sandell a second quicker than Atkinson, who won the previous race. So Atkinson, Pastrana, Arpin and Bennett drop into the bottom of that. And that means that these 4 at the top are going to maintain their positions, I think, because they finished in the same finishing order they did in Q2. So interesting. Speed takes his lid off. Doesn't look too hot or stressed in there. And believe me, it will be hot in there. Here's another look at the start. So just look how close it is between the Beetles. And the Beetles, the nose barely dips when they change gear. It just sits and goes.
They've always had great launches.
On board with Faust. So this was the merge. Look how close he was. And he tried for the undercut, didn't he? I guess he hoped Speed would go deep on the brakes.
I think when it becomes a points race, you might see a little fender touch. You might put a little fender on him.
Okay, we'll look forward to that later on this afternoon. That was Block and Sandell earlier on in the run. And the jump, Faust was really flying the jump.
Volkswagens are jumping, probably one of the better jumping cars right now.
Yeah, don't seem to be struggling, do they? We know that Ford have had a couple of breakages of rear dampers here today. So good stuff from Volkswagen. The dominance of them continues, and you'll see that from this table. So after Q3, look at the consistency of the Volkswagens. 3 P1s in a row for Speed, 3 P2s in a row for Foust. Ken Block, look, right up there now. He's had 2 P3s, so great stuff. Sandell consistently fourth, can't just break into that top 3, but ahead of his teammates Atkinson and Pastrana. Arpin and Bennett are the other 2 down at the bottom end of the top 8. So Scott Speed, the overall top qualifier after Q3, is with Dom now, so we can go and hear from him.
Scott Speed, 3 out of 3. What will they have to do? What are you doing to be that perfect, that good, that fast here in Austin?
I don't know, that one was a lot closer. Tanner's getting faster, so I mean, you know, because we're teammates, we're able to sort of strategize accordingly. You know, I'm going to take Joker first. I give him a couple laps so we don't have to really try to race each other too hard on the track. We'll just do it by lap time. But that was obviously a very, very close one. It was basically a tie. So the three heats obviously going to be good points for the semifinal. Hopefully we can just keep it together next one and have a solid semifinal, and then we'll duke it out in the main.
I know that's stuff that drivers, racers don't like to think about, but how do you see having a perfect day, win every qualifying, the semi and the final? Are you starting to feel it?
I mean, that's always plan A, so that's nothing new. I mean, just hopefully we can stick on that.
Very good. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Scott Speed looking for the clean sweep. We haven't had one yet in ARX. Are we going to see one today? That means you have to win all 4 qualifying sessions, the semi and the final. We've seen it done twice in the World Rallycross Championship, but never in Americross Rallycross so far. Round 2, it could be on already. So these are the standings after Q3. Scott Speed with 3 wins in a row from Foust, 3 P2s, and then Ken Block looks second in Q2 and Q3. Block is up there. Sandell can't quite break into the top 3. Atkinson, Arpin, Pastrana and Bennett.